Guys, welcome in. This is the Not Move podcast. I am the Clipper Tarno. I am joined by C. Ditto, Connor himself. We're going to go over today what we think the Cowboys are going to do. Me and Connor both are Cowboys fans. We'll talk about who they got. We'll talk about what changes they've made, what their expectations are, and if we have time when we're done, we might talk about some of the other NFC East teams. So, Connor, what's up, bud? How's your day going? Connor, are you there?
For me.
Connor might have a weak connection. He's breaking up just a little bit. Uh,
Did you ask a question?
yeah. Connor,
Oh,
so how's your day going?
uh,
How was your Fourth of July weekend?
it's going great. I had to work on Fourth of July, which is horrible. But
That 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 is horrible.
yeah. How was yours?
I was great, bro. I went to the Grand Canyon. Me and the wife went to the Grand Canyon and had a really good time out there.
hmm
Um, so we're good. Everything's good. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
actually just had a news flash come across my screen that Cavante Turpin with the Dallas Cowboys was arrested yesterday in Allen,
Yeah.
Texas, on some charges, possession of marijuana and unlawful carrying of weapon. That makes no
hmm
sense. Texas is the open carry state. You can
Yeah.
carry a weapon, but hey,
But I'm pretty sure the
maybe
state.
maybe not with the possession of marijuana at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel? Let's get into the first thing that we added as Cowboys this offseason. How do you feel about the coaching changes that we've made?
I mean, in my opinion, well, I haven't seen Brian Schottenheimer do anything yet. I mean, I think he could be a good coach, but anything's better than Mike McCarthy, in my opinion.
I mean, Mike McCarthy wasn't that bad. He led us to some 12-5 seasons. Although
hmm
I think his offensive play calling is something that could have used some absolute help, especially with
Yeah.
one scheme and things like that. So I'm gonna run down the list of the new coaches that the Cowboys actually picked up this offseason. We have at head coach, we have Brian Schottenheimer. We
Yep.
have at offensive coordinator, who I believe might be also the assistant head coach, which is going to be Clayton Adams.
Clayton
Clayton
Adams.
Adams, Clayton Adams comes from Arizona. The
He was the O line coach.
not just the O line coach, but he was
Oh.
actually the assistant head coach in Arizona as
Oh.
well. Then we have the defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, who is a great defensive mind and
Yep.
a really good linebacker coach.
hmm
At linebacker, we I cannot pronounce this guy's name for nothing, but his name is Dave Borgonzi. I'm I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, right? Um, he came from the Bears with Eberflus. He was the linebacker coach with Chicago. And to touch base on that real quick, Chicago was really dominant early on in the season, and with
hmm
their defense, just not their offense. They fired Matt Eberflus, and when they did that, their defense took a huge nosedive, right?
Yep.
So everybody's like, "Oh well, he didn't do nothing for a head coach in Chicago." Yeah, some guys don't make great head coaches, but you saw what his defense could do in Chicago. So that's promising.
hmm
Our offensive line coach is going to be Connor Riley, and then our defensive line coach is going to be Aaron Whitecotton.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not real familiar with either one of those two guys, but it's again they're the offensive line coach and defensive line coach. Matt Eberflus is going to be more over the defense than anything, and then you have Clayton Adams, who had a spectacular offensive line in Arizona. So I think we're going to
hmm
do okay with Clayton Adams. What are your feelings?
Hold on, say that again. What was the question?
What What are your feelings on the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator that we have?
So, Matt Eberflus, before he was in the Romo era, we had him as our linebacker coach before. Is that correct?
Yes,
So
correct.
we were top 15 in run stopping that year. So having him as our defensive coordinator is going to boost our defense a whole lot. Now, our offensive coordinator, I don't know much about him. Like I know Arizona had was they had a whole bunch of like I'm not gonna say nobodies because everybody is a everybody, but they had a whole bunch of not very good people on that O line, and they were actually doing good with the O line coach. So he could show some promise on being the offensive coordinator for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we've got to, worry about here, and we'll get into this a little bit more when we talk about expectations, is we got to have an offensive line that has a scheme and that can run the offensive ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something that we really haven't had as Cowboys. And then our defense, we have to stop the run. Those are,
Yes.
expectations. We'll talk about more about that here shortly. But for me, those are going to be the big key changes that we have to take care of right up front.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into some more changes that we've had. Player acquisition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have 9 rookies, 9 true rookies right now.
Yeah.
That I mean, half of them you kind of expect half of them to start. Really, we picked
Mm-hmm.
up 2 running backs in the draft. We picked up a new guard. We picked up an offensive tackle and the tight end
A
from
linebacker.
Auburn. Yeah, so I mean, we're not bad off. I think we had a decent draft. I think if I read correctly on ESPN, I believe we had a B+ draft overall
Mm-hmm.
when it came down to it,
Yeah.
which isn't bad. The Cowboys, you know how it is being a Cowboys fan. We are scrutinized heavily year round. So for the big boys at ESPN to give us some kudos on our draft, I think is pretty decent. Let's start off with our number one pick or our first round pick rather. He's not a number one pick. He's just first round pick.
Yeah.
Tyler Booker out of Alabama.
Tyler
This
Booker.
kid, man, he's 6'4", 321 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
During his stay in college, um, I believe he only allowed three sacks on his quarterback from his position,
And that was
and all three
all
of
in his
those
freshman
freshman
year.
year.
Yep.
Yeah, 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 yeah. How you feel about this kid?
I feel
I think
guys
I
coming
lost
up
you there,
that
Connor.
will fill in his spot. He will be, he's really promising. He will get the job done. He has experience going against D tackle for the Eagles, Jalen Carter. He will defend against Jalen Carter. I think he will do a really good job, and I think fill in the spots for Zach Martin.
Yeah, I think he's going to do a really good job filling in for Zach Martin. I mean, he's a big kid. He's got
Mm-hmm.
great strength, right? And that's
Yep.
kind of what we're looking for in the guard position. Somebody that's not going to get pushed around very easily. You want the strength to be on your side of the ball for your guards, so that they're not pushed backwards into your quarterback or into your running game. If you're trying
Yeah.
to run to the right side. So I think Tyler Booker was a good pickup. A lot of people, asked, a lot of people didn't pay attention to the draft, right? So I've got this question the other day is, well, why didn't the Cowboys go for Genty? Listen, the Cowboys wanted Genty, but he went earlier than 12th. We had the 12th pick. The Raiders took him at like 6.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then they were like, well, why didn't you go, wide receiver then? Believe me, we wanted to go,
Yeah.
McMillan, but McMillan went to Carolina 2 picks before us. So we took who we thought was best on the board at guard, um,
Mm-hmm.
which was Tyler Booker. Here's what's funny now is we get a lot of jokes how we have 3 guys on the front line named Tyler. Okay, not a big deal, not a big deal. Um, but I think the kid shows promise. I think he shows the ability to stop the defensive line coming across that line of scrimmage and get to the quarterback. So,
Yeah.
and then I guess let's see, we have Jaden Blue. Let's talk about Jaden Blue for a second
Jaden
here.
Blue.
Jaden Blue, running back out of Texas Longhorns, right? He was picked in the fifth round. He's kind of small but big at the same time. I mean, the kid's
Yeah.
5'9", but 200 pounds at 5'9". He can move, man. He's quick. He's fast. But everybody, you have to wonder what is the fumbles, right? The
Hmm.
fumbles that he's had. I think if I averaged it out, it was every 27 touches he had a fumble. Um, I mean, I'm a little concerned if we can't fix that. But do you know who else had a fumbling
Yeah.
issue in college? Zeke
Um.
Elliott. Zeke Elliott had a fumbling
Yeah.
problem
Zeke.
at the Ohio State. Um, Zeke had a problem with fumbling the ball early, in his
Hmm.
college career, but never had that problem in his professional career. So
Yep.
if we can fix that up, that's one of the other rookies that we have at running back. Um, Man, it's weird to say we have six running backs right now. Six.
Yeah.
That is
We
that's
signed
weird to
two or
me.
drafted two.
That right. Signed two, drafted two, kept two. We
Yep.
kept Hunter Lipke. He's still
Hmm.
listed as a running back. We
Deuce Vaughn.
have Deuce Vaughn. Yep, yep, yep. Then we signed Sanders and
Williams.
Williams. Yeah. Wow, six running backs right now.
Yep.
How do you feel when someone goes, "Hey, you're going to do running back by committee," when both Williams and Sanders, um, they're no slouches. They got hurt and looked like maybe at one time or another, um, they were promising, right? They
Hmm.
they were promising running backs, for Carolina and for Denver. I believe that's where both of them started their careers. I could be wrong on that. I'm trying to
Uh.
see right now here.
Sanders started his on Eagles.
Yeah. So um, I'm kind of curious as to can they spark back? Um,
I. e- The one I think what's his name, Miles Sanders. He could spark back, but that Javante Williams, I don't think he could because I feel like that injury like messed him up forever. Like he was, I mean, he was doing good his early days in Denver, but he had an injury, and now like I mean, he wasn't the same.
so here's what's kind of yeah. Before the injury, Williams was averaging no less than 4.3 yards per
Yeah.
carry. Right.
Hmm.
Um, I think he got hurt in the fourth or fifth game playing for the Broncos. But ever since then, 3.6 and 3.7, that's been his best career so far, or averaging rather. But if you do go back and look at Miles Sanders, right?
Hmm.
Miles Sanders, I mean, this dude started off with Philly got his first season, right? Played 16 games. It doesn't look like he did great because it shows he only had like 800 yards for the season, but his average is 4.6 yards, right?
Yeah.
4.6 yards a carry. Listen, I will accept that from any running back.
Hmm.
I think your league average is like 3.8. His second season with Philly, again, it doesn't show that his yardage was high because he only had like 867 yards, but it's the average is 5.3.
Hmm.
5.3 yards per carry on a system like Dallas, who is going to have a high carry, right? This is 5.3 for 164 carries. 5.3. Why did you not run this guy more? But hey,
Exactly.
listen, 5.3 yards per carry puts you in the top three conversation of the league, in my opinion. Um, the
Yeah.
third season with Philly, 5.5 yards per carry. Everybody's like, this dude's washed. I'm like, I don't see how you see he's washed. I mean, 2022,
Hmm.
4.9 yards per carry. This guy in Philadelphia, where he had a decent O line, right? Where he had other players around him,
Hmm.
right? This guy did well. This guy, I mean, he did really well. Now, he went to Carolina for the last 2 years, 3.3 and 3.7. Listen, Carolina, did you expect a lot? Carolina is not a great team. I mean, listen, for the last 2 years, especially, Bryce Young, and I know we're kind of getting off topic a little bit. Bryce Young has not performed in Carolina either. And everybody thought he was golden boy, right? But anyways,
Yep.
back to who we have here. Miles Sanders, veteran, been in the league since 2019. Got drafted,
Hmm.
I mean, he did pretty good. Um, we have Williams, who's also, I mean, he's a veteran. He's in his fifth year, I think it is, going into his fifth year.
Yeah.
Got drafted in 2021. That's veteran. Um, I do think that with those two pickups, right? Because those are brand new to the Cowboys, um,
Hmm.
as well as the rookies that we have. I think that's going to be a really good season for us in the run game. If 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 our coaching can
Hmm.
do run scheme plays, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in particular that you've been looking at this offseason that you're like, man, this guy is either going to hurt us or he could be a dark horse for us, or just flat out, this guy is going to be awesome for us? Anybody you got in mind?
Uh, Donovan Izaraku.
Yeah, I do. I do.
I think he will fill in the shoes for Demarcus Lawrence. He has the potential to fill him in.
Listen,
He
I'd be very happy with that, sir.
he
Very happy with that.
he was crazy. He was crazy in college, like 24 TFL, 16 sacks, and defensive ACC Defensive Player of the Year. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. But he looked really really promising, um, like in college and in practice. So I think he can fill in the shoes for Demarcus Lawrence.
Yeah, yeah. And what college did he come out of?
Boston College.
Boston College, right? Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What is he? He's like, I mean, he's big. Like, I want to say he's like 250, 6'2", 250 ish. Um,
Hmm.
I think he's got good speed. I think he's got quick hands to be able to hit and push off and get around that edge. Um, the strength, right? I'm hoping that he has the same kind of strength that D Law had.
Yeah.
D Law had that strength to be able to move guys backwards and not have to
Hmm.
really run around them the entire time. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping that that will be a big impressive thing for us. Because I think we picked him up. This was our second round pick um, guy, and I'm excited.
Hmm. Yeah.
Who else you looking forward to watching on and picking apart on these Cowboys?
Let me think. What's his name? Shavon Revel and, and George Pickens. I'm looking forward to both of them. Uh George Pickens was a piece we were missing. We needed
Listen,
a wide
I
receiver too,
completely agree.
and we got one. So I'm cutting out a lot, but a lot of people criticized us for not picking up a wide receiver too. And in the first round, we got a guard and we got George Pickens, so it worked out for both of those ends. So I think our team is almost complete.
I mean, God, we have 12 wide receivers right
Yeah.
now. Man, this is something I've talked about with a few people. We needed a true number two, right?
Yep.
And a lot of people are like, what does your number two look like to you? Well, to me, my number two receiver is going to be, taller than 6'2", and he's going to have to weigh a minimum of 200 pounds, right?
Hmm.
I want that size difference to go and be able to run down the field as fast as you can and just jump ball it, right? We haven't had that in quite some time, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I think that when we had Gallup before he tore his ACL, I think Gallup was going to be that guy for us. But once he got hurt, he never played the same.
Yeah.
when you tear an ACL or tear up a knee, you can either get over it and return back to form, or you can't. And I don't think he ever trusted that knee. So I was extremely excited when we picked up George Pickens. I
Hmm.
mean, if you average out, this is going to be his fourth year in the season or in the league. If you average out his years in Pittsburgh, 3 years, he's averaging 900 yards a year. Um, he did that
With not
three
very good.
nobody three nobody quarterbacks and one guy named Russell Wilson who hasn't been the same in 5 years. Um, so when someone goes, oh yeah, but he had Russell Wilson. Would you take Russell Wilson as your starting quarterback right now if you were picking a franchise quarterback? No, no, not a chance, right? Um, but he was at one time. Absolutely, Russell Wilson, man, phenomenal dude. He is not that anymore. But I'm excited. Dak Prescott has been known to be able to throw the ball. Dak's had years where he's thrown 4,500 yards, right?
Yep.
Um, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens this season with the running back room. Like, who would you put at wide receiver three, and how would you play it?
Jalen Tolbert.
Okay, why do you have Tolbert at three versus like Cavante Turpin?
Because Cavante Turpin. I Jalen Tolbert is like he showed many reasons he should. I mean, he up the pit for us. Last. I mean, he's a one threat, amazing jump ball, and I just he the the Turpin. Yeah, Turpin is really fast. He's just mainly our and like surprise. So
So you broke up a little bit on there, but I understand. I mean, I hear what you're saying. Tolbert's got size. He's got good hands. He can go for that jump ball. He's a good back, right? I I would like to see us use Turpin at wide receiver three, kind of like we did back in the day with Cole Beasley, right? I think having Turpin in that situation that we used to use Beasley in would be just really phenomenal. When you have a true 1-2 on the outside and you could use that dude on the inside. I mean, you could switch him to the outside and bring CD through the center. Either way, I think having a guy with that kind of speed that you could also do the trick plays with, right? Or the scheme plays with, and let him just with his speed. Oh my goodness, man. I I am a huge, huge Cavante Turpin fan. So I would love to see them be able to use him uh, in that manner. So real quick, let's touch on our starting QB, right? Um, One of those things that you either love the guy or you hate the guy.
yeah,
I've seen so many people that would be, and it doesn't matter if you're a Cowboys fan or an Eagles fan. Some Eagle fans give him the credit. Some Eagle fans don't. Some Cowboy fans give him the credit. Some Cowboy fans don't. So for me, Dak passes number one the eye test by far for me. Number two, his throwing ability. In my opinion, of course, this is just opinion based, guys. This is I'll throw out some stats here and there, but in
yeah.
my opinion, I honestly, for throwing the ball down the field, there's only one quarterback in the league I like better throwing the ball down the field, and that's Josh Allen. Listen, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is not the number one guy, right? Patrick Mahomes is a beast. He can improvise better than anybody. I am purely talking about as a true passer, going left and going right or straight down the middle. If he has to get out of the pocket, I am taking that percentage, and a lot of people don't realize Dak Prescott has one of the highest percentages of being able to run outside on the run and hit a target. and that's
Yep.
going to the left. Even the dude has the ability to do that. I man, everybody's like, oh, but he throws a lot of interceptions. I'm like,
Every quarterback
bro,
does.
he's like I think his interception average for his career is like 8.7 or 8.2 for his career. Is
Hmm.
that's that? I mean, okay, Brett Favre, holy smokes! Everybody's like, oh, he's great at all. Was Aaron Rodgers throws a lot of interceptions. Guys throw interceptions. They throw them in big games. They throw them in small games. Lamar Jackson. Up until this past season, Lamar Jackson had more interceptions in a playoff game than he did touchdowns.
Yep.
Just saying. Let's not jump to Lamar Jackson though, boy. That'll give him a whole lot of trouble right there. People protect that dude. Like they
For
think
real.
he's the man, and he's won one more playoff game than Dak has, but he's so much greater. Okay, sure, nah, whatever. Just kidding, you guys. Just kidding. Bag. I know you're probably gonna watch this. I'm just kidding, buddy. I love you. Um, but no, it's just to sit down and sit here and look in 2023. Okay, we're yes, I am skipping over 2024, guys, because that season was absolutely horrible for everybody in the Dallas Cowboys. Um, Even though you can pick out some good things about it, there's some really bad things too. Just in
Mhm.
case you were wondering. Um, you know, you know what? Now let's hit 2024. Last season, 8 games, right? Completion percentage, not great, 64.7. 8 games, he had already thrown for 1,978 yards. So, I mean, you're midway in the season there and you're at 2,000 yards. Here's the problem, though, guys. Midway through the season, he's only at 11 touchdowns, which, ain't horrible, but you'd hope to have a few more. Here's what's bad is at 8 weeks, he is already at 8 interceptions.
Eight
Eight
interceptions.
interceptions. 8 interceptions in 8 weeks, bro.
Well,
It
I
was
mean,
not great.
well, CD Lamb did have an injured shoulder, so the whole time Jalen Tolbert was his number one option the whole time.
Well, here's something else you got to think about. CD Lamb sat out the entire offseason. He wasn't at
Yep.
OTAs. He wasn't at the mini camp. He wasn't at spring training. He wasn't anywhere. He wasn't. He didn't play a preseason game. He
No.
literally signed his contract 4 days before the first game of the season.
Yeah.
So they had no time to get chemistry together, right? Dak had no time to, yes, they've been playing together for what 3 years now. Great. They listen, even your guys that play 10 years together, they still need those few first weeks, right? Few
Mhm.
first months to be able to get on the same page. They gotta be able to have that that time together to make sure that they're all on the same page, step for step, throw for, when he's throwing, he's looking, he's not looking. They got to get together and reconnect on that chemistry, right? So
Yeah.
I think that had a lot to do with it. I also think the fact that that we were going through a defensive change. Last year was not a great year for the Cowboys, in my opinion. I think the Cowboys have quit on Mike McCarthy, right?
Mhm.
Um, that's another thing. I do believe that the head coach had lost the respect of the players in that locker room um, the season before. So that's a possibility. All right, so 2023 games played 17, right?
Yep.
Dak played the entire season, 17 games. Completion percentage was 69.5, threw for 4,500 yards. Um, Here's something I can't stand is the Cowboys over the last, and this has not just been a Dak issue or a Mike McCarthy issue. This was an issue with, and what, in my opinion, right, is this was an issue with Jason Garrett as well, that they like these dink and dunk passes. So when I read these numbers off, his average throw, right, average completed throw was 7.7 yards.
Yeah.
Man, it's got to be above 8 yards. Got to be above 8 yards. Just again, my opinion. I'm not a head coach, guys. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'm just a fan. A really good fan. Um, but it's something like that, man. You got to have more than 7.7 yards per throw, in my opinion. Again, now he did have 36 touchdowns, right?
Yep.
Only 9 interceptions for the season. I think his longest, if this is accurate, his longest throw was 92. No, that's not right. His longest throw was not 92 yards.
It was
Um,
that was just the longest like play, basically.
yeah, I think it was the longest play, right?
Yeah.
Um, he was sacked, however. Okay, and here's something I like to talk about right quick. Zach Martin, right? 2023 Zach Martin, not 2024. 2023 Zach Martin. Okay, 39 sacks on Dak Prescott. 39 sacks, bro. Whoa. Anyways, I'm going to skip 2022. He only played 12 games. We're going to go to 2021 where he played all 17 games. He was healthy, but he didn't play the last game of the season. You know how that goes. Some teams do that where they don't play game 17 or whatever. So 16 games, right? 68.8 completion percentage. 4,449 yards. Again, 7.5 as the average. Ah, irritates me so bad. 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Still looks pretty good, right? He was sacked 30 times.
30.
Again, 30. I mean, it's not look, it's not a whole lot, but it's not a whole little. We had years where Dak in 2020, for example, never mind, bad year. He only played 5 games. Um,
2019.
but but, but like he was 2019 again, 23 sacks. Our offensive line needs to do better. But here's something I do want to point out. 2019, 4,900 yard throwing. 2021, 4,400 yards throwing. 2023, 4,500 yards throwing. We're going into 2025.
Yeah.
I'm calling it right now. Dak is throwing, if he stays healthy, he's throwing for more than 4,500 yards. Dak is throwing for more than 35 touchdowns. And I'm going to go ahead and call it now that both George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, as long as they stay healthy, as long as they stay healthy, as long as they're healthy, even with the new offensive line that we have, I'm calling it right now. Each one of our receivers, CeeDee Lamb's going to have over 1,200 yards. George Pickens is going to have over 1,000 yards receiving this year.
That's crazy. That's not crazy to say.
It's not crazy to say. If Dak throws for 4,500 yards, that's only 2,200 of the yards between those two. There's another 2,000 yards out there for everybody else, and that's throwing. That's Dak's throwing ability, not
Yeah.
just the run. So I think we're going to be good there. I think that's my expectations for Dak, my expectations for the Cowboys. Let's get into those real quick. What are your expectations for the Cowboys?
Well, if we don't figure out the run game through the middle of the season, we will go like their record. Is that what you're wanting me to say?
Yeah. What would you like to see on the offensive side of the ball? What would you like to see on the defensive side of the ball? And then give me your expectations as to what you see us going in on record. Are we going to go? Are we going to go 9-8? Are we going to
Bro,
go 8-9? We going to go 10-7, 11-6? Where do you see us going for this season?
I see us going 10-7. But that is because I don't think this year they're still not. I think they're gonna figure it out, but like not yet. The run game, like that
Sure.
game still needs to be fixed. But the defense, I think we got that fixed. That's
Okay. I like it. I like it.
yeah.
Where do you see? Where do you see? Do you see the linebacker position being better this year? Do you see the defensive line position, as a whole? Do you see the defensive line being better with the run stop? How do you see
I
that
I
going?
see I see the defensive line, or no, not the defense, no, the linebackers. I meant to say because I mean Matt Eberflus, he loves his linebackers,
He does.
and he and he went in and I don't know if he told Jerry to get Jack Sanborn, but he went and got Jack Sanborn. That's a line familiar with back in Chicago. But I mean, he loves his linebackers. He was a linebackers coach, and I believe the linebackers will be better at stopping the run.
I listen. I'm so hopeful for this because I don't know if you're aware of this, but we have 9 linebackers currently on the roster. We
Yep.
also have 7 safety positions on the roster. Well, it's 16 guys that, unless you're, with playing a 4-3 defense, right? You're playing a 4-3. A lot of these guys can switch over in that safety position out, from linebacker to safety. There's about a 10 to 15 pound difference between a safety and a linebacker, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
linebacker wise, we're 9 positions. Safeties, we have 7. I'm hoping that not only do we find a diamond in the rough to put beside Overshone, because Overshone right now is saying that he's going to be ready for week 1. He has said
Hmm.
this repeatedly. I will be ready for week 1. I'm hopeful.
Yep.
I'm so hopeful on Overshone being ready for week 1. He's already practicing. He was at OTAs and everything like that. He's already running around. Um, dude, Sanborn, extremely excited about this kid.
Hmm.
234.62 out of Wisconsin. Wisconsin boys can hit. I'm
Yep.
telling you right now, Wisconsin boys can hit. Um, I'm hoping that between Overshone, I'm going to chop his name up. Lufa,
Leo.
Maurice Leofa, or however it's pronounced.
Yeah, Leo foul.
That kid,
Yeah.
Leofau. Thank you, Leofau. That kid, man, he's impressive.
He's yep.
He's impressive.
I'm
So
excited more of him, honestly.
I'm right. I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. I'm excited about what we have done on the defensive side of the ball. I'm excited what we've done on the coaching positions that we've gotten. I'm excited about what we've done on the offensive side of the ball, which I think we've done less on the offensive side of the ball than we have on the defensive side of the ball. But we needed more defensive because we have to stop that run. I think that's going to be my expectations for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Offensively, I need us to have a run game, right? I need somebody that's going to give us that avenue to be able to run the ball, run it efficiently, and take some pressure off of Dak and CD. And I mean, look, if you can run the ball effectively and efficiently, that opens up your quarterback and your wide receivers to have bigger plays down the
Hmm.
field, flat out, right? So expectations running the ball offensively. Expectation defense, stop the dang run.
Yeah.
That's stop the run. Listen, that's there you go. Um, I don't think we had great sack numbers last year, and we didn't stop the run. We need to do one or the other if we can't do both. That's how I feel about it. I would much rather see us stopping the run than have guys with 10, 12 sacks.
Yeah.
Stop the run, you know, especially against those key backs, Henry, Barkley, CMC, shoot, Rocky Irvin from the Bucks.
Hmm.
Stop the dang run. So that's where I'm at. Have a run game for the offense. Stop the run for the defense. I see the Cowboys going 11-7. That's me. I'm gonna pull up their schedule real quick. Um, I have it here somewhere. Where's it at? There it is. Anyways, the Cowboys schedule this season, man, we are starting off with a really tough game. I am not going to lie to you. I do not see the Cowboys winning the first game, which is away. The first game is against the Eagles. The Eagles are going to be putting up their championship banner, the Super Bowl banner. They're going to be celebrating. They're going to be on a high, right? And good for them, right? They're Super Bowl champs. They beat up Kansas City and they beat them pretty bad. But that's
Yeah.
the first game of the season for the Cowboys. So where do you have us against the Eagles?
I
At the
honestly,
Eagles' first game of the season.
you want me to say the score and stuff?
No, no, no. Just give me win loss.
Yeah, I just think we're simply gonna lose.
I'm agreeing with you. I think we're going to lose against the Eagles, so that puts us at 0-1. Game two for the Cowboys is at home against the Giants. Where you
Hmm.
have us?
I think that's going to be a real defensive game. I think we're probably going to win by a touchdown,
Okay,
but
okay,
it
okay.
yeah, it's going to be a real
See,
defensive game. Yeah.
I like that. I think it's going to be defensive. Giants did a whole lot to increase their defense, but I am not sold on the Giants offense. I'm not sold on the Giants organization as a whole because of their head coaching and GM stuff.
Hmm.
I'm just not. So I have that as a win for the Cowboys as well. So game three at the Bears. What do you see happening with the Chicago Bears versus the Dallas Cowboys at Chicago?
Oh boy, the Bears. They lost Matt Eberflus. They don't got that defense anymore. I think um it will be a close game. I mean, I don't want to sound like a casual or anything, but I think we could win that by like close, like by field goal or something.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think the Bears are going to be figuring out their new head coach situation with Brian Johnson. Or sorry, Brad Johnson. Right? No, no, no.
Brian,
Sorry. Yeah, Brian.
or no,
So I think they're going to
Ben,
say that again.
Ben
Ben
Johnson.
Johnson. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there we go.
I knew it was a B. So I think they're going to be figuring things out with Ben Johnson as their head coach. Their completely new, defensive scheme that did not work after Eberflus left last night or last week or last year. So I think, yeah, the Cowboys pull off a win at the Bears. I don't think it's going to be real pretty or anything, but I think they, slow going. I think we actually beat the Bears.
Yep.
Week three, week three here is at home for the Cowboys week four. That is at home versus the Packers. Where are we at?
Versus the who?
Packers. We are at home versus the Packers.
Oh no, I mean, every time we play the Packers, it's just like we're. I mean, we're destined to lose it.
You know, I'm not. I can't. I think it's the last 10 times we've played them. I think we've won one, if
Yeah.
that. I think the Packers have had our number for the last, and it's not even like the last couple of years. I mean, this is stretched on for several years that the Packers have had the Cowboys' numbers, rather at home or in the playoffs or even in Green Bay. It doesn't matter. So I'm not far with you, and I'm not going to be that homer. I have us losing to the Packers.
Yep.
100%. I have us losing to the Packers. All right, let's speed this up just a little bit because we're running out of time. So we want to make sure we get all this in here real fast. New York Jets. Who do you have? Cowboys or
Us.
Jets? Us.
Yeah.
Let's see. Panthers.
Uh,
Panthers versus the Cowboys. Who you got?
they're still figuring out some stuff, so I think we can win that.
I agree with you on that. Um, Washington Commanders at home. We are hosting the Commanders. So Dallas at home versus the Commanders. What do you have?
Well, we beat the new Commanders with Cooper Rush and almost beat them with Trey Lance. So now we have Dak and George Pickens. So we could honestly squeeze that win in.
I'm agreeing with you. It's a home game for us. Even with Washington being good, we're going to split most likely, is how I kind of see it every year.
Yeah,
Same thing with kind of Philly. At the Broncos, Cowboys at the Broncos. Who do you have?
we're sadly going to lose to that one.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think we're going to lose to the Broncos. The Broncos looked really good last year. They increased their defense. They increased their offense this year. I think they're going to be a really good powerhouse team. I
Hmm.
think they're going to give the Chiefs fits this year, and they might actually win that division. So next up, we got Cardinals at Dallas. Cardinals at Dallas.
I mean, we can probably finally win against them, but it seems that we can never, but we can probably finally win.
I think we're going to win. We have their assistant head coach. We have their offensive line coach. I think they're going to have to figure some stuff out. Um, I've never been, really sold on Kyler Murray. I don't think he's ever really wanted to win the game. I don't know. I'm with you. I have us winning that game. Moving on to the Raiders. Raiders versus the Cowboys. Who do you have?
Uh, we'll win. They
We'll
still
win.
they
Agreed.
got new pieces. They still need to figure out each other.
New head coaching, new quarterbacks. Even though they do have one of the best tight ends in the league, last year at least, Bowers, man, that kid is phenomenal. All right, here we go. Phillies. We are at Phillies at home for Dallas. I'm giving us that win. Again, we
Yeah.
split with Philly every year, so that's going to be the win. Um, After the Phillies, I think that's week 12. Week 13, we are playing the Kansas City Chiefs for Thanksgiving,
Mm.
and we are playing at home against the Chiefs. How do you feel? What do you got?
You see, we're at home. It's a Thanksgiving game. I mean, it's like signaling us, like everything signaling us for us to win. But I see Patrick Mahomes. He just has
I
dark
know,
magic.
dude.
So
I know.
I think he's gonna win against us.
I also have us losing that game at home against the Chiefs. Uh, but I think we bounce back. The following week, we are playing the Lions in Detroit. I think we win that game. That's me personally. I think we're going to beat the Giant or the Detroit at home. I think their entire season next year is going to be a step back because
Hmm.
the losing the OC, losing the DC, and losing some key coaches around. I think myself we're going to win that game.
Yeah.
All right, then we have the Vikings.
I mean, they got a new QB, a rookie QB too. Has no pro experience. Has coming off and I think a meniscus tear.
Yeah, dude's been injured twice already. Um, I don't see that kid making it past week 6. He seems injury prone.
I
I
think
mean,
that'll be a win by like a field goal because their defense. I mean, that it's no
the
joke.
defense is good. Yep. They've got some great offensive weapons. But yeah, I have us winning that game, not by much, but I definitely have us winning that game. All right, that puts us at week 16. Week 16, going into the Chargers. Everybody knows I am not a fan of the Chargers. I am not a fan of Justin Herbert. I have us blowing out the Chargers. I mean blowing. I have
Really?
us blowing out the Chargers. Yes,
Okay.
they lost. They lost Bosa. Bosa's. He didn't play healthy every year, but when the dude was in, the dude was in. Right. I don't think the Chargers have done a whole lot to really combat being relevant, especially in the AFC. I think that's just me, but that's just me again. Who do you have, Chargers or Dallas?
I have us because I mean they did lose Bosa. They got blown last year. I know this is last year. I don't want to bring in all that, but they did get blown out 47 by the what's it called, the Buccaneers, and we won against the Buccaneers with Cooper Rush.
Yeah. I'm with you. All right, last two games of the season. We have Commanders at home. I think we both agree it's going to be at the Commanders. We're gonna the Commanders split, and we'll leave it with that. And
Hmm.
then the last game of the season is the Giants at the Giants. Look, our boy has not lost a single game against the Giants in his career. I don't think he's going to start this year. So I'm giving it to the Cowboys.
I mean, I want to give it to the Cowboys, but I think I'm not saying we'll lose to them, but I'm saying that like I'm not saying Dak will lose to them. I'm saying they'll pull out Dak for the last game, and like Joe Milton will lose by the Giants by 1 point.
Okay, I like it. I like it. So just so you know, you have the Cowboys with your picks, right? That
Hmm.
went 11-6 for you, sir,
Okay.
and it actually went 12-5 for me. But I'm sticking to my choice. 11-6 is what the Cowboys are probably going to run. I could see a few swing games, but I could also see a few swing games where the Cowboys can lose it too. Um, Guys, I think we're going to call it on that right there. Cowboys season, new coaching, a lot of rookies, a lot of people pulled in. We know what the expectations are. Run the ball efficiently, stop the run efficiently. We can
Hmm.
throw the ball efficiently all day long, every day. We've done it for years, right? Dak Prescott's that kind of quarterback. Um, but I do believe that if we don't do those two things, we might, sure, we might win the NFC East. Absolutely. That's nothing big to us. We've done it several times.
Yeah.
It's getting past that first or second round in the playoffs. Yes, we've been to the second round in the playoffs with Dak. He beat Tampa Bay in the first round with Tom Brady, as a matter of fact. But it's getting past that second round. It's getting into your actual like NFC championship games. If we can't create runs, if we can't stop the run, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We're going to have a good regular season. We typically do, but it's getting through the playoffs and having a chance at that beloved title that we haven't had a chance in 30 years almost. Because we've got to do two things well: run the ball offensively, stop the run on defense. That's going to give us the chance if we can do that.
Yes.
Well, Connor, I appreciate you coming on.
Hmm.
Uh, our great host. We're going to call it time right there. Y'all have a great night. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. Don't forget, share, like, love. Give us some comments. Let us know what you think. If there's something else you'd like to see, this is the Not Move Podcast. Y'all have a great day. Thanks.